Welcome to the Angel Empowerment Healing Show with your hosts, Cindy Smith and Sam Bell. Join them every week as they share powerful tools, advice, and angel messages that will empower you to own your wellness. Welcome, everyone, to the Angel Empowerment Healing Show. My name is Cindy Smith.
And my name is Sam Bell. And for those of you that listened in to our previous episode with one of our founding members, Paige Stevenson, she mentioned about finding a space where you can feel happy and maybe spend 1 or 2 minutes, even just 1 or 2 minutes a day, just sort of connecting and having a little bit of connection and self-love with yourself. So this week, we are thrilled to welcome Tracy, who is another of our founding members, and she's actually going to be talking about sacred spaces. Tracy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, ladies. Really, I'm happy to be here and talk about sacred spaces.
Well, I've got a little bit of an inside scoop. I know that you've been working on your sacred space today. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yes, you're totally right. My sacred space gets a little bit mumble-jumbled because I have a few things going on in here. I have my craft room, my office, and my sacred space. So they pretty much combine together. I'm just gonna throw it out there that your sacred space doesn't need to be this great big area. It can be a little rock by the river and just watching the water. It can be, again, in your house. It can be out in your yard. It could be in your shower even. It can be anywhere. I find that having that sacred space to be able to do your meditation and doing your affirmations and that, any type of energy work that I do, I like to do it in here because I'm surrounded by everything that I love the most that brings me joy.
Yeah, well, we like that by bringing joy. So to our listeners, you know how we like to pull cards, and we pulled a card to say we'd love Tracy to join us, and she's this Creating Sacred Space card come up, and both Sam and I, who know Tracy Morris quite well, went, oh, this is perfect for her. And I'm going to read the card, and then I'm going to share something that Tracy and I did in the past together also. She's going to know exactly what I'm talking about. But I'm going to read the card first, and it is from Archangel Raphael, this card. It is our Archangel. My child, creating sacred space within your environment allows an easier connection with self and us. Be purposeful in setting space to know as soon as you enter your space, you are calm, relaxed, and peaceful with thoughts and emotions. Connect with us and be present. Well, that's what Tracy just said. She loves to get it. It makes no difference what the size of the space is. It's in her home. She gets in there. She feels that calm, relaxed. However, I also know that sometimes creating sacred space happens outside with Mother Earth. And that's one of my favorite things to do is go to certain locations that I love because I feel a vibration. And it was a couple years ago now, though, I think, Tracy, we've got to get back out there. But I took Tracy with me to Marble Canyon. So anyone that lives in the Calgary area or Canmore or travels out on the highway number 3, you're going to know Marble Canyon. For any of our listeners that are worldwide, when you visit Banff or Jasper, because they're well known, Highway 93, you want to Google Marble Canyon. Because the vibration there is amazing. So I took Tracy with me. She'll be able to share her experience. It was early spring. There was still some snow here, there, and everywhere. So the big melt off wasn't huge yet. And we were able to get our feet and had a big area to be able to sit down in the rocks. And to me, that is such a healing opportunity for my physical, emotional, and spiritual body when I can do those outdoor vibrations. And I refer to them as sacred space in Mother Earth. So I will let you share your experience there, Tracy.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I haven't been out there. Just being by water for myself is very, it raises my vibration. So being with Mother Earth and just being able to stick my feet in the water, and yes, it was dang cold. It was very cold. It was just beautiful. It was like a cleansing for me as soon as I get my feet into the water. And that also calms me. And just being able to sit and journal a little bit and just let my mind just kind of empty from the day's stuff, as I'll call it, that went on prior. Just being able to sit out there and just have that calmness and that quiet and be able to actually get into your into your heart and do your meditations. That was gorgeous. It was beautiful out there.
And it is, I mean, for our listeners, you can all think of places that bring you that calm, that peace, and that joy, because it lifts your energy when you get to certain locations. What Raphael is sharing with us all is we can create that same kind of feeling in our home as we can do when we're sitting by a river or anywhere that you like outside. So it's creating that sacred space. And one of the reasons that I love creating sacred space is that with that peace and calmness, we're automatically receiving healing, whether we realize it or not, because we're shifting how our body is working with everything that's going on in our world. We breathe differently. We start to pay attention to our thoughts differently. So much goes on because we know as a human being, we've entered our sacred space. And that is why for years and years, Archangel Raphael has guided me to teach people sacred space. And I love how Tracy has taken a room, a multi-purpose room in her home that creates the sacred space. Sam, talk about, when I say automatically Raphael steps in when we're in our sacred space, is there anything you want to share about that?
Well, when I connect with Archangel Raphael, I feel very supported and I find myself in my flow. Everything just seems to happen with ease. And that is a beautiful feeling for me. And I find that when I connect with Archangel Raphael, to be honest, it doesn't really matter where my space is. I mean, I've just been away for a weekend and I had some of my special things around with me. And that made me feel that my space was sacred. So I kind of made a strange space sacred to me by including some of my card decks or some of my crystals, for instance, and my journal and a special blanket, all things that sort of are familiar to me and just help me to feel connected to this new space. And as I say, I ask Archangel Raphael to be with me at all times. And that in itself makes me feel safe, supported. Things seem to happen with more ease and flow. And my space is sacred because he's there with me. That makes sense?
That makes sense. Totally. So, yeah, we can have Raphael. Yeah, that's perfect. I guess I've spoiled myself over the years because I'm not sure how. When I use sacred space, for me, it's a different kind of connection for me. Because, for anybody that knows me, I'm walking around talking to Michael or Raphael or whatever archangel is in my world all the time. And so I think sometimes, and it's probably my own belief system, that when I create a sacred space, it gives me that inspired connection. It's my own belief system around it. It's just because I'm so used to all the time being connected that when I get into what I create as a sacred space, I feel an inspired connection. What do you think, Tracy?
Cindy, I was just going to ask you, your sacred space also would be up your trailer at Fairmont, would it not?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I was just going to say, like, I have a sacred space here at home. I have a sacred space when I go out to my parents. I have the whole downstairs basement and it's quiet. So I get to create a lot of stuff. I come up with things. I get stuff done. I sit down by the river again. Everywhere I pretty much am, there's water. I have a sacred space in BC. When I used to go visit my grandmother, I used to go to Crescent Beach, and there was these 2 rocks out on Crescent Beach. And that was my space to just breathe, ask for the archangel's help, because it was not a good thing going on at the time. But it was my area that I could go to, and nobody else was around. If they were, I kind of did a bubble around myself, like a ring of light around myself, so I would not be distracted by them. But again, the water, the tide in, the tide out, it's just nice to have that area where you haven't got all the noise pollution going on in the background, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. And, we could sit here and talk. We could make a list. We could have our listeners describe some of their places. If you want to switch the words out from sacred space to happy space, you could also do the same thing. Whatever makes you happy in a location is going to create a sacred connection to self and your angel team. And for healing, we can all share with our clients for angel empowerment healing. I am always guiding them to find a place to listen to my voice when they're receiving healing, a place that is quiet, a place that they feel safe and secure and comfortable. Because we know how much that, Sam and I, we talk about it all the time. We know how much that awareness of vital balance and bringing in that peace and everything assists with the healing. So I always talk to my clients in the beginning is when we're going to do our next session, make sure that it's a time where the kids are quiet. So if we need to make it after they've gone to school or later when they've gone to bed, I will work with clients to make sure they have that sacred space energy to receive the healing. What do you do, Tracy?
When I have clients, when I have angel empowerment healing clients, I usually have been doing the first session in person. And they've been coming to me because they feel that where I'm at in my home, it is a lot more quieter and happier than what's going on at their place. And they would be able to be more comfortable because there's kids running around and all this. So they come to me. And we've discussed many times about doing it over the phone and that. But like I said, I have some clients that come to me and prefer to be here and work with Archangel Raphael for healing. And I also have quite a few that love to just do the phone and just get into their comfort spot. We call in Archangel Raphael, and then everything is nice. And as I say, the green hue comes through. So I know everything is nice and calm. I hope that helps out a bit.
Yeah. And Sam, what about you?
Well, one of the things that when you mentioned there about vital balance, Cindy, and of course in our vital balance program, which again you can find out more about it on our angelempowermenthealing.com website. But vital balance is talking all about getting our nervous system into that rest and digest state, which is really what you were both explaining about how you feel when you're in your sacred space. So my little bit of advice there would be to make that space somewhere that is familiar, where you can enter that rest and digest state. So, and not do it just once a day or even once a week. Try to escape there, as many times during your day as you can, because that's how you reprogram your nervous system to get back into that rest and digest, into your parasympathetic, rather than being in the sympathetic, which is the hustle and the bustle and the fight or flight of the day. So, yeah, a sacred space is just so important for our nervous system. Just wanted to throw that in there.
Absolutely. And the other thing that I do often, I'm very visual. I'm a visual person. And we brought that up with Paige in the last podcast around, the happiness. Some of our memories bring that happiness in, so we can have that lift and vibration with happiness. So, for instance, I can right now just talking, I'm grounded, and I can see Tracy and I with our feet in the water. I can see the water and how clear it was, and the sounds of the water, because it's one of those Y junctions. So there's water joining, and we were sitting there right when it was joining. I can smell. I can bring up the whole sensation of that time we were in that beautiful Mother Earth sacred space. And so for me, by doing that, by just imagining that I'm there, my spirit, however you want to call it, it automatically brings my body into the calm state. Whereas I just automatically want to take deep breaths. I just felt myself taking the deep breath because I just thought of what it would felt like to be there and experiencing that. And it was so much fun for me because Tracy hadn't been there and experiencing, I got to witness her experience of the joy. And so it's also, just like Sam said, it's taking that time to be in sacred space, but we can visit our sacred space by a memory. So
what I'm hearing there, Cindy, is part of your teachings. If anybody comes to one of your events, you always talk about using all of our senses. And some of us have got stronger senses, like yours is visual, mine is feeling and knowing, somebody else's might be, hearing. So listening to music, anything that is stimulating those senses, to be calm and, that rest and digest state. I just love that. But one of the things I just wanted to ask both of you, because I know you both do this, but how can you prepare your sacred space so that it becomes sacred?
Well, on the card is selenite.
There you go.
So
love it.
I clear my space. I mean, Tracy can talk about how she does it too, but I use Archangel Michael to clear a space, and then I have selenite. I do grids to hold the space, but if you were to enter into my office, which is one of my sacred space that I'm sitting in right now, I just look around at how many selenite towers I have on my desk and around me. I've got a big selenite, huge one that is in front of the window, big pieces of selenite on my bookshelf, selenite in the corner behind me. So once I've cleared it, the selenite continues to clear it. And so I'll let Tracy share, but please understand too that the reason we're using anything in a space in a building is that, yes, we do have flow of energy underneath the home, but when we go to those natural places like water and movement, whether it's the ocean, a river, a creek, a big river, it's always clearing. The Mother Earth is clearing. And when it rains, it clears. When we get big wind storms, it clears. So naturally, Mother Earth is clearing space. So that is why we use different tools and asking to clear our sacred space that we're in within a building. So what do you do to always clear your space Tracy?
So, as today, my space gets very cluttered. I have a filing system that only I know, and today was one of those days where the filing cabinet was getting over full, and I needed to start moving things around. So what I do is I'll start to declutter things, move things around so it changes the energy around. Then I will also do sage. I will sage my room. I will also let incense burn while I'm in it. And I have enough crystals in this room and selenite that I think it's doing pretty much the same thing as your area is doing. I have all this beautiful vibration from the crystals in here too. So I have a lot of things going on here. But that's how I usually clear my space, is just by saging it. And then I'll also do the Archangel Michael, and I bring Archangel Jophiel because I always want everything done with ease and grace and love.
And I love that you brought up the decluttering.
Decluttering.
It's something I need to do in my space. And as soon as you said that, I went, oh yeah, because it brings us more peace and calmness.
Yes.
If we're always looking at a clutter, it's reminding us of the things that needs to get done on our list.
Yes.
So, Sam, what about you? What do you do with your space?
So my space is, well, I've got a few different places. My home is my sacred space, to be perfectly honest. My life is very much dealing with lots and lots of people. And sometimes I'm done peopling, and I like to escape back to my space, which is my home. And I don't really have many people come to my home because this is my off space, where I turn off from the world. But I've got so many different beautiful objects, and just listening again to you both there, yes, of course, I've got, umpteen crystals here, and I've got a big selenite wand in front of me, and, but I also love to have my plants in my office, mainly because my cats eat them if they're anywhere else in the house. But my plants are all in my office, and I love that because it's a little bit of nature that's come in here. But also I've got objects here, like I've got photographs of my dad on the wall, and they're things that I look at. I've got a picture of Elvis here, and I've got other little things like a little cuddly sloth, and I've actually got a Christmas decoration that one of my baby clients gave me. So they're all little objects that give me joy and happiness. And I just have them all around here. It's just because they make me feel happy and joyful. And they conjure up those memories. Fond memories.
Yes. Yeah. It's our memories. So I'm going to read the action step off the card. I read the Raphael message. The action step is, I asked for assistance from Archangel Raphael and selenite to clear space and keep it clear. I asked for calm energy after clearing to allow for a perfect place to connect to my angel team and to relax and or regenerate.
Love it.
And I love that because that's what Tracy and I were doing when we went to Marble Canyon. We were regenerating. We needed a boost. We'd had a long winter. It was beginning of spring, and we wanted to just get out there and regenerate. And so your sacred space can be used for so many different reasons. But we are the Angel Empowerment Healing Podcast show. And so our main theme here is that there is so much healing that you may be unaware of every time you create the sacred space for yourself, no matter if it's a short period of time, a long period of time, where it is, how you're doing it. You are creating that vital balance, calm state that is the biggest way to help healing. So, Tracy, we are so glad that you joined us. And we have another podcast coming up that you're going to join us also. and it is to do with vibrational match energy. And we know you love working with Archangel Jophiel also. So I really look forward to sharing around vibrational match energy and healing and Jophiel and love, and the list can go on and on. So to our listeners, we thank Tracy Morris. She is one of our founding members on our website. So Sam, how can they find Tracy?
Yep, go to www.angelempowermenthealing.com/founding members, and you will find all of our founding members there, including Paige Stevenson from last week and Tracy from this week.
Tracy Morris.
Tracy Morris. Sorry.
Just making sure if they're looking. We only have one Tracy as a founding, but I'm just.
I was going to say. I was thinking we got other Tracys.
No, I like the full name. I'm funny that way when we're in. So, thank you, our listeners. We love doing this podcast. We really appreciate any feedback or reaching out to us and asking any questions. And so I will say a bye for now.
And yep. Tune in next time. Thank you.
And thank you, Tracy.
Thanks. See you, Tracy. Bye.
Thank you for joining us on the Angel Empowerment Healing Show. Your hosts, Cindy Smith and Sam Bell, will be back next week with more tools, advice, and angel messages to empower you to own your wellness. Visit our podcast page at www.angelempowermenthealing.com/podcast, where you will receive 3 healing meditations recorded as a thank you for being one of our listeners.